WeedMD has started harvesting from its outdoor cannabis growing operation in Strathroy, Ontario, in southwestern Ontario. That's a real cannabis belt. Now, they say this is, in fact, the first large-scale legal outdoor cannabis harvest in Canada. We're joined by Keith Merker, CEO of WeedMD. It's great to see you.
Great to be here.
So you've got acres and acres. What is it, more than 20 acres of pot?
We've got 27 acres that's under cultivation in 2019, and we do have the ability to take that over to 100 acres next year.
And there was asparagus growing in these fields.
Yeah, so the vendors of the property were previously growing organic asparagus on site. So every now and then you'll see a little asparagus shoot coming up. It is a bit of a weed, pardon the pun, but we have eradicated the asparagus and are now growing cannabis successfully on site.
And one of the big attractions here is the lower cost growing outdoors.
Absolutely. We are now positioned to be the, if not one of the lowest cost producers of cannabis in the nation.
You have a greenhouse, a retrofitted greenhouse. Can you give us an idea of how much cheaper a pound of pot is from outdoors versus the greenhouse?
Yeah, so I'll think a bit smaller and we'll talk about grams instead of pounds. But nevertheless, in our most recently reported quarter, we were doing about 96 cents to cultivate a gram of cannabis from the greenhouse.
Okay.
We anticipate, and it's still early days because our harvest has just begun in the outdoor field, we anticipate to be about 20% of that cost in the outdoors.
20%?
That's correct. So 20, 25 cents per gram. And by doing so, to sort of revolutionize and heavily disrupt the cannabis space today here in Canada.
Because you're going to be producing so much cheaper than a lot of people.
Absolutely correct.
And just tell me, how is it harvested? Do you have to harvest the whole plant, or do you just pluck the buds off, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we've developed an interesting platform for the harvest. Whereas in the greenhouse, we'll take a whole plant and actually hang that whole plant upside down for about a week to dry it. In the outdoor, we have much, much larger plants. So whereas in the greenhouse, again, we're 2-3 foot high plants. Outdoors, some of our plants are 7 feet tall.
Whoa.
So, and from a yield perspective, in the greenhouse, we're about 120 grams per plant at harvest. This is dried weight of product.
Okay.
Outdoors, some of these plants we're anticipating upwards of 2 kilograms per plant.
Of bud, essentially?
Our famous Ghost Train Haze strain, for instance, is 7 feet wide by 7 feet tall and bushy and going to be producing large quantities. So we're going through and we're actually taking the apex colas, so the biggest and largest flowers that are at the top of the plant first, and then we'll go through with a second pass, of course, Mother Nature permitting, take what we'd call the shoulders of the plant, and then we will take the rest of the plant after that. So it's a harvest in 3 stages, if you will.
And it's like the top of the plant's the most valuable, I'm guessing.
Correct.
So the stuff grown in the greenhouse, though, is higher quality, is it, generally?
So generally speaking, it's a little bit more nuanced. We're anticipating that those apex colas, those top flowers that we're currently harvesting, for instance, off of the Ghost Train Haze today, could potentially be of equal or even superior quality, if only from a marketing perspective, because we can market it as outdoor sun-grown, which has a cachet to it. And, you know, the difference being in the indoors, in the greenhouse, we can control the environment, we can control the climate and the lighting, and come out with a very consistent product and do it time and time and time again. So from that standpoint, the quality indoors would be more consistent.
But the stuff that isn't grade A, 5-star, you, of course, can use it in extracts, you and other companies.
Absolutely. And we have plans to sell some of that biomass into the industry. We have good partners we work with to do so. And we also, of course, are now retrofitting our Elmer location, so our second site, which was actually originally our flagship, which is about 40 minutes down the road. It's currently being retrofit into a world-class extraction and processing hub. We've been extracting on site since 2017, but we've taken a step backwards and we're now installing brand new, much larger industrial scale equipment. And the first piece of machinery is actually being commissioned this week. And so a lot of this biomass will actually flow down the road within the WeedMD umbrella and be turned into Cannabis 2.0 products and extracts.
Just on the financials, I don't know how much formal guidance you've given. Mackey has you at revenue of $40 million this year, Mackey Research, with a net loss of 11 million. Now, I know there's always a lot of items, especially for a company like you that's building out stuff. But 40 million net revenue, does that sound in the ballpark this year?
So Mackey's numbers are Mackey's numbers. We have not given formal guidance as a company. We do have a lot of variables in front of us. In all frankness, we are pioneers in the outdoor grow. We're one of only a handful of Canadian companies that has a legal, legitimate, large-scale outdoor cultivation that's currently being harvested. And there's a lot of delta between not only the amount we're going to produce, but the cannabinoid content therein. So there is potential to hit those numbers, absolutely. There's potential to beat them even. But it's too early for me to say, quite frankly, because our harvest is just getting underway. And we do anticipate having a big Q4 and carrying that through, of course, into 2020.
Maybe I'll ask the control room to put up a comparison chart for you versus HMMJ, because just about every cannabis stock is down, but you've been holding up better than the ETF lately. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I guess we've been outperforming by not underperforming.
I know.
It's a tough market out there. That's the reality of today's cannabis world. But I've anticipated this for a while and tried to prep the company as best we can for longevity in an environment where things get tough.
What sort of people do you have harvesting the plants? Are they immigrant workers or students? Or?
We've got a lot. We're now about 220 strong as an employee base at WeedMD, and we've got a great and highly dedicated team. I can't tell you the times that this team has gone above and beyond throughout this year, because what we're doing, again, it's all brand new, so there's been a lot of learnings, a lot of discovery, and through all that, the institutional knowledge that we've gained as a company is going to carry us in great capacity going forward into 2020 and beyond.
Well, what about the actual harvesters, though? Are they going to be temporary? I guess they have to be.
No, we've got a mix of our full-time employees as well as a casual labor pool that we draw on to assist, because there are obviously some blips where you need a lot of capacity on site with respect to human capital.
For sure. How big are the fences around the fields?
So we got the 27 acres fully encapsulated with fully encapsulated with 10 feet high barbed wire fence, 40 security cameras, motion detection, intrusion detection, all kinds of security features are there.
Right, because who knows, teenagers can get stupid sometimes. Yeah.
we were both there once.
Yeah, we were both there, oh, wasn't I ever? And their brains work differently. Keith, thanks very much indeed.
Thanks so much.
Keith Merker, CEO at WeedMD.